Hello, good evening, targeted individual. My name is Grace. I'm one of the targeted individual here in UK. Um, I would have left this probably for tomorrow, where to be clearer. I'm just to apologize for the quality of this video. I'm still not able to sort out a clearer video, but I'm hoping, hopefully one day somebody will give me a hand, and I'm just doing all I can to try to make it a little bit clearer. Today, I'm just going to update you in what's been going on with me from the last time that I did a video. In today, the last time I did bring it to your notice or just update you on what was going on with the psychiatrist and what they've been trying to do in terms of, to get me to be sectioned. I did say to you around in August or September that I did write to the Prime Minister, and I did see a lot of people, including Nigerian High Commissioner, and I believe the letter did not go anywhere because it was intercepted. And then I also received a letter saying that due to this letter that I wrote, that I needed mental health evaluation. And then it came to be that it's the same psychiatrist that did a false assessment, a false diagnosis last year, that was also involved, and he seems very keen at this moment to have me sectioned so that I can be probably treated with medication that I don't need, and I don't have mental health problem. And I think it's just their way of trying to shut me up, either permanently or try to kill me off. And I think it's both. It's either probably this is what they want to happen, because they've been looking at every avenue to try to get to me as soon as possible. I'm just gonna try and read to you and share the letter that I wrote to the Prime Minister in terms of investigating my targeting and what's been going on, and to see because the latest referral to them by the fixated, according to them, got a letter saying that it was the fixated team that I alerted them from Haringey. They said it came from Buckingham Palace. I was also said that it came initially from my GP, then they changed it to Buckingham Palace, then they changed it to Haringey, a psychiatrist, and they said to me it was a female psychiatrist that sent the referral. Then the psychiatric, a male psychiatric, which I've actually spoke to a community nurse that I didn't want to see because he made the false diagnosis last year, turned up in my home on the 27th of last month, and then turn up in my home unannounced without any any arrangements with him. I made the arrangements with the woman, but she didn't turn up. She said she was on annual leave, but she didn't answer the emails or try to make an appointment with me. But this man turned up on my door, and couldn't let him in because I was on my own, and I was also on my home clothes when he came. Then apart from that, the next week on the 4th of this month, he turned up again. This time he turned up with the same woman, with the community nurse, and I wouldn't let them in. But initially I didn't open the door. I was talking to him behind the door, and at the time my husband, I'm separated, but he comes here freely. We have kids together. My husband said to him that he should go away, that he shouldn't come back. But then he went in there after they were threatening. They said we were threatening. We never came out of the house. We were talking behind the door, half open with the chain on it. But then he went and wrote to social services that he was so he had to leave. So he had to told a lot of lies, inconsistency that he's been throughout since last year. And he told a lot of lies that he felt threatened, but nobody threatened him. Nobody came out. We're all behind the door because my intention was not to let him come in. So it was outside. It's outside to go. So I don't know how he was being threatened, but he was told to go. Um, he was told to get lost. I didn't say it, but my husband said to him he should get lost, and based on his false assessments, and then that was what he has written, that he felt threatened, but nobody threatened him. Nobody said anything to him. He could have kept it and kind of let everybody hear how he was being threatened. He was outside. Nobody came out. I didn't come out. My husband was behind me. I was in front, and we had the metal chain on the door. So nobody came out after him. Nobody threatened him. We just said to him he should go and get lost, and that's what was said. And I said to him that I have no confidence in his ability, and I didn't want to see him, so I don't know why he turned up with that pre-arranging that he was turning up, that day. And then he did say to me when he came in on the 4th that then he changed it to, he didn't mention fixated threat, but he said to me that his coming was to find out how I was doing. And this was based on last year's referral by my occupational health. And I said to him that can be true because at the time in August this year, based on his letter that he said I've got psychosis, I had to resign and retire early. I didn't want to retire at this age, but I had to retire because he had told a lie, and at the spot they were going to sack me. So I tried to fight it off, but I thought, well, I was also trying to do some tests on myself due to all the symptoms I was having. So I just said to them, well, they could employ him. They're short of staff. I didn't want to stand in the way. They were short of staff just because of me. So I just took early retirement, asked them to, employ, if they want to employ to fill my post. I wasn't going to fight. I didn't want to stand in the way. I want patient care, so I wasn't going to stand in the way, and that's what happened. And because of the, I was being told I was having the that I was going to be sacked anyway because of the long-term illness, which I did not enforce. I didn't ask for it. They enforced it on me. And this is the letter that I wrote. This one is addressed to the Nigerian High Commission because originally I come from Nigeria. My parents from Nigeria. I came here in my 20s. This is the letter, and I did say, requesting a parliamentary commission of inquiry into direct energy weapon torture and victimization by National Intelligence Services and Combat Team on me. And they say I'm writing this letter to request a commission of inquiry into the deliberate torture and victimization of experience and continue to experience in the hands of National Security Team, the military combat, and the Metropolitan Police to prevent silent Holocaust and crime against humanity. I'm a highly skilled nurse and also a citizen of Britain. Apparently, this psychiatric is saying that he's coming now. I had the social worker that they referred, the little girl that lives with my grandchild. They're trying to use her as a bait. They were using that to threaten me when the nurse was talking. He said he's referred, and that was since July. He said she has referred, but then I realized that it was only referred to social services after I stopped him coming into the house to do false assessment again. And according to them, they announced, according to what I understand from the social worker, after reading my letter, that they didn't think I was a threat, but it's because of the content of the letter, what I said, like using silence Holocaust, like saying I was gang stalked by my neighbors, and that electromagnetic emission was coming in from next door neighbor, and that I was also being targeted in the church. Yeah, I still stand by what I said because I'm the one experiencing what is going on. These psychologists or psychiatrists don't, I feel in my own opinion, he is incompetent and probably corrupt. Incompetent or corrupt, or probably incompetent and corrupt. Because silence Holocaust has been used. It's a phrase, I've just checked it. It's a phrase that has been used to unrelated things. I've came to this country hearing people using silence Holocaust or Holocaust. It's being referred. It can be used. People have used it to refer to Jewish people being assimilated into the West. That they've lost their culture. They've kind of getting married into the West, and they've lost their culture, and also marrying the Gentiles, and then they're losing their culture, and they're interfaith. And some of them have been, the phrase has also been used to refer to by the pro-life people, referring to a lot of abortion that has been done in America, probably in this country, as silent Holocaust. So it's the phrase that is being used. And also I've heard a lot of targeted individual using that phrase silence Holocaust because of the worldwide torture. It's not only in this country, it's not only in America, it's also in Europe that it's been happening, and very people are aware of it, and because it's happening under the radar. And because people are not aware of it, so it's been going on for a lot of years, and people have lost their lives because of this. And that is a silent Holocaust where a lot of people have lost their lives. A lot of people have lost their livelihood. A lot of life have been destroyed. Where people, like exactly what is happening to me. I've lost my job just because of the targeted. I'm not a threat to anyone. I've never been a threat to anyone. But then they're trying to use the false mental health assessment to say that I'm mentally unwell because I'm saying this aloud. So this is a silent Holocaust because the way they do it, so that the next person, for example, like me, they have gone about in my own locality. They have used the community policing, and used to smear my name and scandalize my name into people believing that number one, they will tell a section, the perpetrator, that I'm a threat, I'm a lone wolf that needs to be stopped at all costs. Then they will turn around and tell people like maybe the professionals, in terms of the healthcare professional, like what's happening, that's I'm mentally deranged, well, because I'm saying I'm being tortured without anybody taking a side to find out what's going on. And this is a silent Holocaust because it's not only me, it's worldwide. It's not only in Britain, it's happening in America. It's well known in America because a lot is happening in all the states in America, and people are more becoming very aware of it. Here, a lot of people are becoming to be aware of it because people probably that are used to YouTube, and the words are coming out because the leaflets also have been coming out, so it's gradually getting to the public domain. A lot of the news, the agencies, they're aware of it, but they're probably too scared to say anything. But not, it won't be that they're not aware of it. They know what's going on, and they could be threatened, they could be targeted themselves. So they're probably, too scared to say anything. And a lot of the whistleblowers who have come out, and people that were involved initially in this and the setup of this programming, they have come out, some of them with conscience, they have come out to say, it wasn't designed for what it is, but it's being used in a sinister way to get control, to take control and punish people that open their mouth to say anything. So this is the letter that I wrote. So part of the letter, it says silent Holocaust. So according to this psychiatrist, silent Holocaust, because of that makes me, those are the words that he's using to say that I've got mental health problems that are needed to, according to the hints that I've heard, that are needed to be sectioned because of this. So in his mind, he has come to the conclusion, because I've used silent Holocaust, but it's a phrase that people use. It's been used in so many contexts. And so I have used that phrase in this letter. And it's not only me that I've used that phrase in this letter, in their letter to authorities. So then in my own case, this amounts, in his own mind, this amounts to silent Holocaust amounts to mental health problem. And it also, according to what I heard, that I also, because I've mentioned that I'm being targeted and by next door my neighbors, which is true. I have used the meter, the RF meter, and I've measured the electromagnetic wave coming up from next door into my home, and I'm being sandwiched in between. It's coming up left, right, and front and back. So it's not something that is only. I've got evidence to show that the electromagnetic wave has been, irradiating from next door neighbor into my home. I've got a specialist to come and have a look in when I thought that my phone was being hacked. That I thought they were airdropping into the house last year, and he actually went next door to talk to the man that came from immediately. He said because there was something coming at the time. I did not fully understand, because all I was thinking was to get the bug that was in here. But what I thought was in here, it was probably in here, because he did show in his documentation that there was something that had tampered with my telephone. Although we did not find the physical bug, but it showed that somebody has tampered with my telephone, and that they had cut the wires in such a way, because I'm a woman. I don't know. I can't cut any wire. Nobody has come to do any repair in terms of the phone. So he said somebody would have taken has tampered with the, and those were one of the evidence that I took when I went to see the psychiatrist, which especially the woman that, it was kind of she was kind of criticizing the English, but then she herself, when she opened her mouth, she had a very, very, very heavy European accent. You know that she probably didn't grow up in this country, but then she was quick to kind of criticize other people's writing, which I didn't see anything that was wrong with what the gentleman has written to when he was writing his conclusion, and then the recommendation he recommended. So this is one of the things that is been highlighted to me, that I used silent Holocaust and crime against humanity. And that I've also said in my letter that, that my next door neighbors, which I stand by it, I still stand by it. I have evidence to show that there was a lot of radio energy emitting into my home, which I did when I contacted the police that was meant to be looking into my case this year. I did say to him that I was a bit worried because of the children that were in this room, with the amount of the electromagnetic that was radiating into my home. And I didn't mention it to him. So at the time, it's not something, because I'm a nurse, I look at every issues in terms of health, in terms of that is the way my brain works. So I'm looking, God, if it's happening now, how, what is the residual on the children? How is it going to impact on their health as they grow up? So that's what my main fears was, and it's still my main fear. So I have fears for myself, but again, at least I'm a middle-aged old woman. But when children are growing up into this kind of polluted environments, which they have nothing to do with it. So I did make that when I was writing to the police that was meant to be looking into this case, which he hadn't responded since probably the last time I spoke to him in January and last year. Anyway, since the last time I spoke to him, I can't say the time, but I don't have that information at this time. And I did say to them that I've actually saw, I did mention combat team. Yes, I have seen them last year, September last year, when they packed their vehicle, and that's when I knew something sinister was happening to me, because I did see it, and that was changed. I took a picture of it, and that was hacked off my phone and replaced with a security company called SAS. SAS, I knew also a security company because I have seen a personnel of SAS targeting me, following me to Stratford, following me to my GP, following me to the shop, and following me to Bromley around January this year, when they were doing slave sales. I'm being targeted with electromagnetic, even in the bus. So I knew him, and I took his picture. And when I took his picture, that picture was hacked and replaced by somebody else's picture. I don't know if it's his picture, but the picture I took, it was a man with gray hair, but the one that they replaced was a man with brown hair. So I don't know if it's the same man, but I knew if I see him on the street, I know I can't see him, because sometimes picture can be, and I still stand by those words, and I'm not going to change. I stand, and these are people that I can identify. If they're in a million of people that look like them, I could identify them, because as a nurse, that's one of the skills that we like. And those are the ones based on this. So I said in this letter that in 2015, I moved from hospital inpatient into community care due to family circumstances. I soon became aware of being gang-stalked and harassed. After getting on a train at Cannon Street, I was on my way to work when I realized my purse with my credit cards and my INI was missing. On getting to Cannon Street, I decided to go back home to search for my purse. I got on a train at Cannon Street. I thought I was going to Lewisham, then realized the train was empty and probably being shunted. I got off the train and later took a train to Greenwich. Then And since then, I noticed I was being followed and tracked, and that is the truth. And I still stand by every word that I've said. In 2017, I made several trips to the police station, employed a solicitor, and wrote many letters to the Metropolitan Police in an attempt to notify the police of gang stalking for investigation. Although 2 crime references were eventually issued, but the complaint was never investigated. And I still stand by what I've said, because this is what I've written. I've not changed it. This is exactly what happened. Then in August 2018, I escalated and wrote to the IOPC regarding the Met Police reluctance and refusal to investigate my complaints of gang stalking and harassment. I had death threats notification in 2018, which was true. I had a death threat. It came onto my computer, but then at the time I didn't know what, because I was panicking so much. I didn't know what to do. I had to quickly call my family member. But knowing what I know now, I could have calmed myself and screenshot it and blow it up and then show everybody what I felt, what I was notified. Exactly, that's what happened. As an assistant by what has happened. So that is being hacked off my computer. I had that threat notification in 2016, still reporting the incident. The attack escalated from psychological harassment to full-blown physical trauma-based torture and victimization. And again, I stand by what I've said. I've written this by myself. I stand by the National Security Agency falsified evidence reports, slanderized my neighbors, members of public, former church members, and escalated me to high national threat category in order to gain support and coordinate a multi-agency government response to a national threat. This is true because I used to go to church, New Wine Church in Woolwich since about 2002, 2003, and it's not because they found me. I found the church because I come from a very spiritual background, and I moved with them wherever they went. I moved with them, but it got to a point that a lot of people that I started the church with, they all left due to one thing, rumor, one thing or the other. But I still stood in the church, and then when this thing happened, when I started noticing I was being gang stalked, I went 2017 when I confirmed that this is what was happening, to talk to the pastor, and I went to a night vigil, and he called me and prayed for me, then asked me in front of everybody if I have anything to say. I said yes, I do have something to say, but I would like to come and see him in private. And that's what he said. Somebody should take my number, and somebody took my number. They never called me, and at that time there was also something going, a lot of things going on. He became unwell, so we're actually praying for him. So I just thought, okay, a lot is going on, so I should pray for myself. But nobody called me with number, nobody contacted me. But in previous times, people, if I didn't go to church maybe a Sunday or 2 or 3, they won't notice that I haven't been to church, and they will call me. So it could be sometimes, maybe if I'm having a lot of long days on Sundays, because I mean, as a nurse, if you work in the hospital, you work weekends too. So maybe if I'm having that or having nights, I couldn't for one reason or the other, people will call me. So they have my number. They designated people that will call. So I wasn't unknown to the church. But then what I noticed that by 2017, before I left church last year, by 2017, towards the end of 2017, I went to church, and there was a day that somebody was actually preaching. I've never seen the preacher before. Maybe he came in when I'm not, those Sundays that I don't go. That he was talking about Christians being radicalized and that sort of a thing. I actually used a demonstration of using a pyramid and the rest of it. So I sat down there, and I knew where this was going. And apart from that, I've been in church on some occasion, especially New Year's Day 2016, 17 to 18, that somebody, a woman actually pointed to me in the church and was saying that this is pointing and saying to me, oh, this is the woman that they were talking about. She recognized me from whatever meeting they came in there in New Wine Church to say to them, I don't know what it is. And I've actually seen people that I've recognized that have actually stalked me up to Lewisham, that have stalked me up to the chicken shop that is close to me, that don't live locally, that I've actually seen in the church when I go to church, that I've actually seen. So these are the people that I have seen, and some of them have taken their pictures, some have been hacked, but these are people that I can actually pinpoint and say, this is the person that has gang stalked me, because I know it was gang stalk by the time I realized what was going on. And by 2017, I had to leave the church. I didn't go back there to this church, anymore, because I just felt this is the church that I've been going. A lot of scandal have happened in the church. A lot of people moved out, but I just thought I didn't want to be going from one church to there. I just stayed there, and my children children grow up in that church, although when they grow up, they start having their own church and they moved away, which is as long as they go to church, I'm okay. It doesn't matter, because they say where one or two are gathered in my name, I'm there. So I'm not particular to say you have to come to my church. As long as it's church, as long as Bible believing church, I'm okay. The children, go to church. But this is where I have been up to 2000 and last year, when I finally stopped going to church, actually before Easter, because I just felt that my life was threatening. If everybody were gang stalking me in the church that is meant to be a church of God, is meant to be a refuge, and in this present church that I am now, I don't know if the members are gang stalking me, but I've seen somebody that came in. Seems he came in from another branch somewhere around Christmas, New Year's time, this last year stroke this year, and he was actually, I could recognize him, and one other person, but I don't know his role, that I could recognize that they talk about. Then when I go into church, most times I'm being attacked in the church with all this electoral. I'll just sit down there like the usual thing, my back going burning sensation from the back of my neck to my back, and sometimes my clothes becomes moist, just like what happens at home. Exactly what happens. So obviously, if the attacker is not in the church, is within the vicinity around the church. So it's something that happens every Sunday. Every Sunday that when I go into the church, I get attacked inside the church of God, and God is my witness that gives me breath today. So if this man is going about trying to section me because based on his own assumption, it's not based on facts, it's not based on what he has researched himself, is based on what he assumed, or presumption and assumption. So what my understanding from what is going on now is that he feels that I've got mental health problem because I'm saying I'm being gang stalked, and I'm mentioning silent Holocaust. But then silent Holocaust is a phrase that has been used for so many years to quantify things that people want to quantify, that they feel that it's not well known, and there's danger and there's harm being done to people. This silent Holocaust is something that has been happening in terms of targeted individual. People are dying. People are being, targeted and tortured all over the world. It's not only in this country. It's very well known in America. It's happening in Europe. It's happening even in Australia. It's happening in some third world countries that have signed to this program. So me using a silent Holocaust in the doctor's mind, in the psychiatrist's mind, that amounts to mental health problem. And also me saying, according to what my understanding of what's going on, that is thinking of coming to do assessments and then section me. That is the latest plan that he's trying to do, saying that I'm using words, like silent Holocaust. I'm using gang stalk by neighbors. I'm using gang stalk by neighbors, which I stand. I am being gang stalked by my neighbors. When you are in this program, you're being slandered. They have perpetrators. There are some of the neighbors. There are some of them that are done. I've never seen them before. Some of them are actually, in my own opinion, are doing like shift work. There are some that I've seen with Santander. There are some that I've seen that have been like local people cleaning the street. Then suddenly they're in the next door neighbor being, waking up and I don't know, doing, it seems like it's a shift work. So many movements in one home, in and out. There is no amount of hiding that you will realize if you've lived there. I've lived there since 2004. So you will know who your neighbors are. And this was a close, well, wearing that clothes, wearing that going into each other's home, but we knew who lived next door. So if you're seeing multiple people, a lot of new faces coming in and out, surely you know something is going on. And that's what, and I have noticed and is going on. And also I noticed that the two sandwiched between these two people, there was a lot of home building things going on last year simultaneously. And secondly, when I got the specialist, he actually went over to next door, the Italian man, to say to him that there was some frequency coming into my home, and he acknowledged that his router was was backing into where I put my computer. And exactly this is where every time I sit down, I'm having some serious, as long as I sit in now, that my leg becomes so cold and ice, and my clothes, if it's a trouser, it becomes moist. And I've measured it, it has come up to sometimes 40, sometimes 35, sometimes 45, sometimes 70. Um, you know, VVMG that is coming from next door into my home. So these are something that I've measured. So I'm not just sitting here and talking from my rooftop on, and this is not mental health. This is something that I have evidence of what is coming from next door into mine. And also when I go to kitchen, I'm facing the other side of the house again. I have measured the electromagnetic wave coming in from that door, and I've measured the pressure that I've been having, especially when I go into my kitchen. There's something that is latching into my head, then I start having the deep heat. I have it in the front room, but I also have a lot of it in my kitchen. And last year I lost a toenail. This year I've lost my big toenail due to when as soon as I get into the kitchen, I have something like somebody is using a metal, a hot metal, and slam it on my toe, and I've lost two toenails from last year to this year, and I've never lost toenails before. So it is ongoing attack that is on me. But then this psychiatrist that is that has been trained in his own profession to do no harm, believes in his head without any knowledge, or maybe he has knowledge, but not my understanding of covert action, overt or covert action, but he's deciding in his head that this is not this is mental health problem. So this is how he decides his own mental, based on suggestion and presumption, not based on facts and what is in front of him. So this is what I've written. And I also went in there to say what this attack has done to me in terms of pain. Now I have cuts, and this is one of the cuts that I had this week. You can see this is one I have this week. This is the other one I had. If you see, this is the scar I had about about 2 3 months ago. There's so many of them in my body, cuts when you wake up. The last time I showed you, there was one on my chest about 2 3 weeks ago. That was on this side. Before that, there was one on this side. And I've shown a lot of people that will watch. And on my body, there are also all these white marks that I don't know where they're coming from. This is it. These ones, I don't know where they are. Suddenly they start appearing on my body. Sometimes when they target me on my feet becomes ballooned. I don't have blood pressure, but my feet becomes like balloon because of the constant, attack. It feels like spray jets. It feels like rain. Some rain is constantly pouring, and then it does affect my feet, and my feet will swell up. And sometimes they bring lots of big veins that I haven't seen before. And sometimes I've had lacerations on my wounds, on my not wounds, like a clean cut on my that will bleed, and also on my hip, especially the right hip. They target the left hip, but they focus on the right hip, and also the knee. So these are not things that you can make up. These are things that is measurable, that can be seen. So this psychiatrist that is sitting in his office that have no knowledge of covert war or direct energy weapon, but he's sitting there making assumption of mental health when he has no clue what's going on. Maybe he has a clue, but I don't know. Who am I to say? He could know what is going on. But then if he has a clue, that means he's corrupt. He knows what is going on. If he doesn't have a clue, then that means it's incompetent, because this cannot be happening. And then you say it's mental health. And also my blood has been deranged because of all the constant attack. And I said, this attack, torture, and terrorism has caused intense pain, deep tissue heat, burning sensation, stinging, bruises, rash, and cuts, which are very visible and noticeable in my body. I'm experiencing a constant low level frequency throughout my body, and focus attack on my head, which is true. All these parts of it, you can see under here, it's become swollen. All this part, last week I had something like it was like here. All my face here is numb. Everywhere here is numb. Everywhere here is numb. When I have the attack, there is a pressure on my head, and I continue to say the pressure on my head. So I believe either I've got implants here, or I've got fibrotic mesh, or whatever it is that I know I've also had nano crystals attack on me, where I woke up one day one part of my face was full of crystals, and I was thinking maybe I've breathed it in, I don't know. And all these dust, they settle to become like an antenna in somebody's body that can radiate radiation, and that's where they latch onto. So whatever it is, it is latching into my brain, because before I have the deep heat, it's just like if somebody is latch up a kind of a heavy presence of magnet into this part of the, then you start feeling the cascade of heat coming out from the body. This is not, it's got nothing to do with menopause. I have been through the menopause. I'm well in my 50s now. It's got nothing to do with the menopause. Menopause has got nothing. This starts from the brain. You tension, then the heat starts. And when it happens like that, I know somebody is very close by, because there is a different, it's a different feeling from what you see. And it's not the sweat, it's not what you like, that moist sweat. Then you just feel the heat, then the heat cascade into your body. So that's when I know somebody is close by that is attacking me. So this man, the psychologist or psychiatrist, is either he knows what's going on, or he does not know, or he knows what is going on and is part of it. So it's either, in my opinion, I think he's incompetent, because number one, the assessment he did not ask any questions. So you cannot, as a consultant, not ask people your questions. There is, when you're doing assessment, there's the subjective assessment where you collect data from the patient, and there's the objective assessment where you take you from what you've seen, from measurement, from things, that you join both. So he listened to what I said, but he wasn't hearing. He just documented what I said, but he did not tell anybody what did he do in terms of trying to find out, exclude every cause of this problem to come to a judgment. So he's basing his judgment based on his hearsay, based on I think. His own assessment is based on I think, and you cannot be treating somebody based on I think. So he's thinking that my using silent holocaust, that makes equates to mental health. I think we need, everybody, world needs to debate this. And secondly, it's not only me that have written to the Prime Minister. A lot of people have written. They, in fact, they encourage people to write, because they are aware is that maybe these people on top are not aware of what's going on. We need to write so that we can escalate and let people become aware of what's going on. And people have written to even Trump. People have written, the American people have written to Trump. It's all documented there. They've written to Trump to tell him about what is going on. And they've written to human rights associations, charities. They've written, a lot of people, the first thing to do is to let the charities to say this is what is going on. Some of the charities, I don't know why they're not carrying this on, and they write to I understand a lot of people have written to BBC, a lot of people have written to ITU and tried to contact them. I've actually sent email to BBC. They never responded. So they have chosen not to respond to this type of thing. Probably they're afraid of the repercussion from the intelligence services, or being targeted themselves. But for me, I'm already being targeted. I mean, what have I got to lose? I mean, I'm being already listed to be killed. So if I'm shouting, I've got nothing to lose, because I'm already in the process of hoping that through the attack that I become, I'm dead, but then I know I haven't done anything. And that is what is giving me the strength, because I know I haven't done anything. Why should I be attacking this way? And I'm letting everybody know this is what is happening to me. And then that makes me, someone that has got mental health problem by this doctor. So I don't know what this doctor is trying to cover. So what is telling people now, there is section that I've been told that they have been scandalized my name in the whole vicinity, that I dress well. That is my own belief. Somebody was telling me, but he didn't say, they directed it, but I understood what they were trying to say, directed it as if it was themselves, but I understand how this thing works, that, she looked good, she appears good, but she's not well. So that is what the assumption they're telling people, that I'm not well. That is what they're telling people that don't know what's going on, that I'm not well, so that I look good, so that I don't fool them. But then they're not telling people that they've set to people, they're attacking me with a radiomagnetic energy that can be measured. So it's not the case before that you can't measure this. This can be measured now. If you buy the equipment, and this is the equipment that I've actually checked to be able to, and actually go on the YouTube to try to see how to use it. And I know how to use it, and that's why I've gone into my home to try to measure. And that's how I knew where these frequencies were coming in. So this doctor, according to him now, he wants to hasten up the assessment of my grandchild in the process so that she'll be taken away, and so that they can come and do assessment and claim that I've got mental health problem and I need to be sectioned, so to be treated. So that is their aim, so that I can be treated. Or when you're treated, God knows what you're pumping into your body. So that means maybe during the process of me being treated for non-existent mental health problem, that I'm dead. Then when I'm dead, they say it's unfortunate as she reacts to the medication or a body. But this is how they do, or section you and put you permanently into mental home. Then make it, because all this medication, they have side effects, and that's why probably people that have got organic and mental health problem, don't like taking them because of the side effects that are not favorable. And having said that, there is no anybody under the sun that the mental health people have cured. The thing is that they manage the symptoms, because the symptoms is only managed where people, they give them all this injection, they just eat and go to sleep. So when they go to sleep, you can't do anything. So they sleep and just sleep and just sleep. When they wake up, they eat. And that's why, as a diabetes nurse, you see a lot of people that have got mental health, organic mental health problem, developing diabetes. And because of the medication they give them, the medication itself makes them obese. And again, because it's just cause drowsiness that you go to sleep and you wake up. When you wake up, you just find something to eat and then go back to sleep. So, and when you don't take the medication, you go back to your normal state of mind, isn't it? So that is basically not cure, and that's not a holistic a cure. You're just using medication to numb without finding the root cause of the problem and taking the root cause of the problem away. So now, a male consultant, a psychiatric man, he works in one of the southeast mental health, which I saw him last year, has decided to use this letter that I've written. Now they're saying that it's not that I was a crack, but that the words that I was using means that I've got mental health problem. All the words I've been using are words that other people have used. All the words I've used, I don't think there's anything here that I've used that I've not researched that is being used by other people. So in his mind, this has equated to mental health problem that I needed to be treated. I needed to be sectioned for this, because I haven't allowed him free entry into my home the last time. 2 times he came without consent. He came without consent. He came without planning. He just turned up in my home. And as a single woman, I'm not going to open the door to somebody that hasn't, made a prior meeting with me. And I would have loved, my family members to be there, or somebody. If you're going for the appointment, if you're going to their vicinity, they say to you, you can bring your family member. I don't know what made this man think he can just knock on my door, and I'll open my door in my pajamas and let him in, because he think he's he's a psychiatrist. And when I knew that in the first instance he was already incompetent in the assessment he did last year, then in the next time he did not tell me, okay, if you write me a small note, I've been to your place, you weren't here, can we make an arrangement to see? He did not do that. Instead, the next week on the 4th of October, he turned up again. And this time again with a woman, the woman that was threatening me, that she was going to do a referral to social services for the child. So they turned up, 2 of them, without prior announcement, without saying we are coming on so day to make an agreement with me. I'm not somebody that don't engage. I engage, but it needs to be done the right way, because I do the same thing. I have to get it right when I'm seeing my patient. I have to show some respect. I have to show some. But in this time, they did not. And because I did not open the door or give them the free passage, now they're using the child as a bait, and now they're using these words that I've written. These words too are words that other people have used to describe what's going on, and none of them have been told they've got mental health problem because of this. None of them have been told they've got psychosis. A lot of people have written to all these human rights organizations to alert them to what's going on. A lot. Last week, the Guardian pick up a story about calling it a Chile database, secret database that is being used, and that's where I did mention it the last time I went on YouTube to say, look, it is well known that there is a secret database that is being used. And he did mention, they concluded that what is happening, the names on this database is not to prevent terrorism. It's used for control. I saw the control is that you're being punished if you open your mouth to say anything. So it's done in secrecy. So it's for control and torture. So this is what the psychiatrist, which I now know, I believe in my mind, that is incompetent and corrupt, that is trying to use this letter. And these are the letter I have. This is my letter. This is one of, I have not being disrespectful to anybody. I just said what was happening to me, what I understand, what is going on, and I've told them what is exactly is going on into me. I've told them about the hissing in my ears that started last year. My husband one started this early this year. So they said I have got mental health problem. I'm not related to my husband in any form, shape, or size. He's from West Indian. I am from Africa. He's only by marriage, but he himself is an elderly man that is beginning to experience the charming in his ears. You understand? And this is what is happening. And it's not only me. A lot of people that are being targeted are also having the same symptoms of this charming in the ears non-stop. Mine is 24 hours a day, and sometimes it's louder than others. I try to ignore it, don't let it impact on my life, and that is what I have done. And this is the what I've written. And in my last part of the letter, I have said to them, Britain parade itself and is seen worldwide as a law-abiding country where nobody is above the law. I've lived in this country for over 25 years and thought the due process of the law. I've worked within the law in my personal and work life as a nurse. I've never committed a crime. I come from a very strict Christian. I come from a strict Christian background. My father was a pastor in Nigeria. I'm a practicing Christian. I'm not a radicalized Christian. I have endured terrifying ordeal from the hands of national security and their operatives. Please, I'm requesting an independent parliamentary investigation into this case to avoid silence Holocaust. I am mentioning silence Holocaust because people are being tortured to death. People are taking their lives when they can't take anymore. They just want to go. And people have been put into mental institution because they are being falsely diagnosed as having. This is Holocaust. This is quiet. And it's not only in this country. It is in a lot of countries using this program. So it is quiet. It is a silent Holocaust. A lot of people are dying. A lot of people are being involved in this. 70 to 80% of people that are being targeted are women with young children. And this is it's not something that the target you, let's say 3 months or 1 year and leave you alone. This is for life until the day you take your last breath. This is it. So it is silent Holocaust. I don't know how anybody will say this is not silent Holocaust, and that's what I've put it there. And I stand by every word that I've said. And this is what I've written. I'm requesting an independent parliament investigation into this case to avoid silent Holocaust. I want to know why I'm being Stasi-style gang stalked, tortured, listed on military research, and watch this to be killed, which is true. They listed because this program that they're using, all these things that they're using to torture, is a military weapon. They want to see when your body starts to crumble, when you develop maybe a stroke or when you develop cancer, and then they escalate it and watch when you die. There is no stopping. It's not what they put you in for 3 months, 4 months, and say, okay, you've learned your lesson, that's it. This is for life until the day you die. And it is done every minute, in my case 24/7, and it's coming from all directions. This is it. And I stand by my words. This is it. This is what I've written. What are the evidence for the torture, and why are the evidence not made public? And that is my own asking. What are the evidence for this torture? If you say somebody is bad, where is the evidence that they're bad? What have they done? People don't, a lot of people have asked, freedom of information to find out what they have done. Because if you know what you've done, maybe you apologize and change your ways into good ways, but you're not given that chance. You're not told what you've done. I have been to the police more than 5 times to try to find out what's going on. What have I done? It might be something that I'm still doing. So if I'm still doing it, not knowing that I'm making, offending people, then how can I change? Where is the change? Where is the change? But this is done. It's done to show that they're using me as a living person to punish, to show me that they've got the power and they can get away with it. And what can I do? I can't do nothing. And then watch when I die. And then they will celebrate, because this is about big money. It's a lot of money, defense money being channeled into this program. And that's why it is very lucrative for people to get involved. It's not only small people. It's not only those people gang stalking. There are also a lot of security involved. In my case, there's so many of them that I could list. The first ones that I started to notice was a different one, until when I told a work colleague that he realized when I was saying, look, I'm being gangster, this is the name of the security van that I've been staying in my home. Then he said, Grace, that is true. Then I started, when I was working in Central London, they used to park a black van every day in my workplace. And I began to notice a trend. And this is it. So it's big money. We are being seen like one of the targeted individual. We are the golden egg. So everybody's making their livelihood from us, and it's a lot of money. And those ones that are doing the gang stalking, they are being rewarded for, taking part in this, using the electromagnetic wave or their phone to target in terms of mine. I've been lasered so many times. I've been like a shotgun on my back when I went to Lewisham, early this year around February, March, that somebody kept, if I turned up, all I could feel was this a lot of pain on my back. It shot at my back. Obviously, it's not going to show on my skin because the way it is designed. So this is it. This is what I've written, and I'm saying I want the national security and the operatives to start the torture with direct immediately, and the whole program to be shut down due to deliberate harm to the public, abuse of power and position by operatives, and lack of accountability by the personnel that are using this deadly weapon. Direct energy is a military weapon designed for war zone. The gang stalking perpetrators and handlers of this weapon will never want this weapon to be used on them or family members or members of their family. Why are they allowed to use this weapon on unsuspected public? Thank you for your cooperation. I hope to hear from you soon. And this is what I've written. I've not insulted anybody. I've not been rude to anybody. I'm using my own case to highlight what's going on. It's not only in this country, it's going on in Europe too. It's going on in France, it's going on in Switzerland. A doctor that left here, Dr. Harton, that left here, Catherine, she used to work with one of the particle physicists. She knows about all this. You should go to YouTube. She even lectures, people on what's going on. She mentioned that she also used silent holocaust. She also encouraged people to write to their prime minister, to write to their MP, to bring this into public domain, to bring this into public consciousness, so that they can find a way of stopping this or curtailing the abuse of this on innocent people. And that's why I've written, using my own showcase of what is being happening to me. And I've also written how my things have gone missing in my home, how my telephone has been hacked. I've also written where I got the specialist who came to see it to notify that my phone is being hacked, or there was some listening device in the house. So where is the falseness in this? Where is the falseness that this psychiatrist is saying that he suspected mental health, that he was going to section me? So I will hold this man responsible if anything happens to me. If he come and section me and I'm being given injection, I'm going to hold him responsible if anything happens to me. I have no mental health problem. He's not the expert. He's not the expert in overt or covert war. So how can he come to a judgment and proclaim this as mental health, but he has no clue what is going on? He is no expert. He has no expertise in direct energy weapon. He is no expertise. I'm the one feeling it. I'm the one that is a living it. This is my experience. So he cannot come and trivial my experience as mental health when he's not the expert in covert or overt war. He's not the expert. This man has no expertise. The two psychiatrists that I saw have no expertise in direct energy weapons. So he's not really in a position to say this is mental health, that he has to section me to be treated when I am experiencing direct attack and torture by direct energy weapon. So this is what I try to bring to you. And this is the letter. I'll try and find a way and put this on the website so people can read. And also, this is another letter. Another leaflet. This is not by me. This is done by email markwilliams.lifecoach.co.uk. He made this up when we went to he's also being a targeted individual. He wrote this, and it came the same thing. Like I said, the program are being run by the very people who are supposed to be protecting us in the hugely corrupted intelligence agencies, but it is often carried out by private security firms so as not to make those crimes as unaccountable to the authority as possible. Law enforcement, MPs, and human rights organizations are still mainly unaware about this crime, hence the urgency of a campaign. This is the campaign that they done on the 29th. I was part of it at BBC just to bring awareness to what's going on. It's not been reported. I've not seen them carry this again. It could be maybe they are being threatened or suppressed. I don't know. Their human rights abuses are done something underneath the radar of general public eyes, and often the victims are not believed when they tell others what's happening. The psychiatric profession often wrongly diagnose them as mentally ill. I did not write this. This is what this guy have written. This is one of the leaflets. I will try to see how I can post this on the internet so that everybody can read. This is what is written, and this is written by Mark Williams. He's also got some apps where you can anybody that is being tortured can download, and then it has where you can do your own letter to a human rights organization, to the MPs, and to European human rights organization, and to charities. So this is me. I haven't done this. This is done by other people, and these are people have sent letters to, even to Obama is even aware of what's going on. And this is the letter again that I did say that I received. This is where it's coming from. I've tried to block my numbers and the reference. I don't want to, this is I showed it the other day. This is from where it's coming from. This is where the referral was coming from, and this is where you have been referred to primary care plus team for an assessment by the Fixated Trait Assessment Center due to concern about the letter you wrote to the newly appointed Prime Minister, Mr. Boris Johnson. That in the letter you explain your worrying experiences, and it seems to indicate, according to Fixated, that you benefit from help or support from mental health services. They therefore made a referral to this. Is a lot of people have written to Donald Trump. They've not been told that they've got mental health problem. A lot of people have written to the European Human Rights Organization, to charities in this country. They have not received any letter that they've got mental health problem. The letter I've written, I've not been rude to anybody. I'm just outlining my own experience of what's going on in my own body and how it's affected me in my own body, because my blood because of this attack, my blood have changed. My blood was changed. My hair minerals, my body was changed. I had to do a lot of detox to try to get all these toxin out of my body to begin to stay alive. If not, probably I would have been dead. If I didn't know what was going on, I would have been dead, because I wouldn't have known what to do. This is the letter that I got, and in the letter, this was dated on the 20th of August. By the time these people are turning up in my home was the 27th, the first 27th of September, and then the second was the 4th of October this month. This was dated 20th of August. The letters that I posted was about, I think, end of July to August, and this is what they said. You were then contacted by the team manager, whereby you indicated that you do not wish to have contact with mental health services. You stated that your letter was written to local members of parliament and not Buckingham Palace. Such letters sent to members of parliament and other public figures are first assessed by the Fixated Trait Assessment Center to ascertain any will-be trait, or if it indicates that the person may need care or treatment due to possible mental health. As we have spoken to you, we are offering you the opportunity to reconsider your decision not to have contact with mental health services, and therefore as that you contact us on the above number within 14 days from the date of this letter. If we do not hear from you by the 3rd of 9th, 2019, we will assume that you do not wish to engage with our services and will discharge you back to the care of your GP. If you require urgent assistance, please contact the team on the above number during working hours, or Oxley's mental health urgent advice line on at all times. Yours sincerely. This is what they wrote. Like I said, primary care team plus. This is there's no signature there. I cannot indicate who wrote this. And then they CC my GP, and then CC Fixated Trait Assessment. But there is no, like I showed you, there is no details here. When I asked, when they first started this, I asked for details who referred me so that I have an understanding of what's going on. They told me first, they told me lies to start with. I was first told that it came from my GP. I said, no, my GP cannot refer me and refer me again. They said, no, it didn't come. Then the lady said, oh, let me try and find out where it come. It come from Buckingham Palace. I said, well, I did not write to Buckingham Palace because I was shocked that a letter would come from this to, from Buckingham Palace to me. Then they said, no, 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 it came from Haringey. Haringey, who did it was I was told that it was a female psychiatrist that did the referral. What is the name? Oh, she didn't put her name in there. So okay, it sounds very bogus, it sounds very unbelievable. Then they said to me, and that was it. That's what I said to them. Can I see the referral, please? I want to see the referral because seeing is believing. And they didn't show me the referral. Instead, they wrote this. And then when this man turned up on the 27th unannounced, I said, well, I did not make an appointment with you because I spoke with the female nurse. She said she was going to come with another female nurse. I said, okay. But then she didn't. She gave me a date, which I could not do. So I said, and then when I gave her a date, she said she couldn't do it. She'll be on holiday. I said, okay, when you come back from your holiday, there's nothing bad in that. I don't know how long she was going for. It could be a day, it could be 2 days. But when you come back, you get in touch with me for the assessment. But she never did. And then I saw this man turn up in my home that says, and then he turned up again on the 4th, saying to me he's the only psychiatrist, which I find very, very, very hard to swallow because the woman, the psychiatrist I saw on the 9th or the 6th was a female. And it's the female that sent me to him to say to as a secondment, because as a psychiatric you cannot make a diagnosis. It has to be a collaboration of two of you. So if two of you are collaborating lies, then you've got it. So in this case, she didn't make that. She didn't tell me of the diagnosis when I asked her. She said, no, I need you to see my colleague. And I went in there hoping that he was going to do an independent, what was expecting independent assessment of his own, then to come to a conclusion. He did not do. So he was staring at what this man has written on the screen, and that's the basis of his assessment with no question asked. And that's why I started to suspect that something did not sound right, something did not look right. I know how these assessments are done because I'm a nurse myself. I worked the last point before I came into community. I was working in a new unit. So we have awareness. We do some similar assessments. So I knew that this wasn't right. And that's why I started questioning. Then he did not say anything. The last time he came, this man turned up in my home on the 4th, around after 11 o'clock. He did not mention fixated threat. He did not mention any of this letter. He said to me, he's referring to last year, that he came to see how I was doing. And if I knew last year assessment, and I'm saying that was last year and you told a lie. So I was still even getting my head round to actually make a report about how he has done a diagnosis. I've lost my job because of that. Then he turned up and I said, I don't want to hear anything from you. I've said to people, and I did say to the nurse that I did not want this man involved in my care. I told my employee occupational health that I did not want anything to do, because what this man has done, he has robbed me of my job based on false assessment. Because by the time he wrote his writing, it looked legitimate. But when I remember my assessment with him, he asked me very little question. He did not do anything that will make to come to a conclusion of mental health apart from his assumption and what he think it is. But which is, as we see, writing a letter to the PM is not a sign of mental or psychosis. People are encouraged to write letters to your MP if you have problems. Now they're saying that it's not the writing of the letter, but what's in the letter. And as you see, what is in this letter that will conclude that I've got mental health problem, because I've used silent holocaust. People use silent holocaust when things are not, enlightened, when a lot of people don't hear, when things are done underneath. We know a lot of people have suffered because of it, but very few people know it's a phrase that is being used in so many dimensions. So why would this equate to mental health that I needed to be sectioned and injected with medication? This is what the doctor have said. This is what my understanding of what's going on. Like they said, I've used phrases like silent holocaust, and I've used phrases like my neighbors have. When you are in the list of community policing, this is what community policing is all about. It is well known. It is legitimate. Everybody knows about community policing. This is all about. They use your neighbor. They use your relative. They even use your children. They use your children. They use friends. They go and convince friends, tell lies, slander you, say you've done something that you're not, and make them believe. And then they use those people to target you. That is community-based policing. So what have I written here that equates mental health problem? That this man is basing himself to come and section me and get me medicated because I use Holocaust and I use community. But I've got evidence where these things are emitted from my next door into my home. This is it. So I'm waiting when he will come to get me into to be sectioned, because this is what, if anything happens to me, I'm going to mention his name. He's the one that is caused it. If I lose my life, if I lose anything, if I lose my ability, he will be the cause of it, because this is misdiagnosis. This is using your position of power to torture, to abuse of power. This is abuse of power, abuse of the power that is given to help people's health. That is what he's using. Is weaponizes power and using it as an abuse. And it is part of this program where you're being told you've got mental health problem to try to silence you or lock you up permanently, because once you're diagnosed, you lose all your rights. You lose your rights. Nobody believes you. Everybody now, they're already telling people that I dress well, I look well, but I'm not well. That's what they're telling. They're already twisting people's mind. I'm not well. Psychologically, I'm not well because I've written a letter to the PM. I wasn't rude to the PM. I asked them to look into this case, and that's what we've been advised to do. This man has got a web. He's got an app that shows how to write a letter. I didn't see his first. That shows you how to write a letter, and they're raising awareness, and that's how you raise awareness. And if you go to targeted individual websites, associations, they are now doing petition to the Prime Minister to try to get these to be debated in Parliament. So the same thing that I've done as a personal level, they are doing it as a collective level. So how many people would these psychiatrists go and section to be treated with medication injection because they have signed the petition? Because a lot of people are signing petition. This is an abuse of power and position, because he can weaponize. If I don't want to get the assessment, then he will get the police to come and take me. Then they take me straight into mental health ward and lock me up there and start injecting me with things that it shouldn't be in my body. And God knows what that costs. That hasn't got its good side effects. That makes people mental. That actually causes mental health problem on its own, especially when you haven't got mental health problem. People are pumping you. So where does the holistic treatment comes in? And this is a man that has no credentials in direct energy weapon or how it is used. He's got no credential. He does not know. He's not the expert. And also, my occupational health, when he started, it seems reasonable. But by the time I was leaving, I don't know, because he's been having discussion with them, having discussion with my GP, having discussion with these people writing letter to him. He became, there was an instance where I had a meeting, he became very, I don't know, I just saw like somebody, like he's a different person. So I don't know what happened between the time, because the last letter I got to him before I made retired, I met Miss Udoh that came to see me on the 20th of May for an occupational health review appointment. It did not appear as yet that she has received any further input from the psychiatrist. I've been anticipating that they will be following up on our initial assessment and draw some conclusion. Without any conclusion, any form of feedback from the psychiatrist, I'm not in a position to offer you an opportunity, an opinion on Miss fitness to return to work. I need that specialist advice first. It is my expectation. That is what he has concluded. And again, having said that, this man has he's not the expert in direct energy weapon. He's not the expert in covert war. He's not the expert in overt war. It is my expectation that Miss Udoh-Williams will require treatment before she's able to. This is his own expectation based on false assessment. This is his own expert, and this is meant to be somebody that you go to for occupational health. This is the one he was writing. I mean, there was a time that he actually got so upset, because I was questioning that. He said he doesn't know what it means about consent, that they should have taken the consent from me and start treatment. I don't know what he saw. I don't know what he was told, but I know that they do tell a lot of lies. They do scandal. Their own lives about telling and misinformation and distorting all the evidence and truth. So this is what they wrote. It is my expectation that Miss Udoh-Williams will require treatment before she's able to return to work. That treatment has yet to be forthcoming. This is what is written. When he has no idea what he's talking about, he is no expert. Why would you commit treatment when there's no sickness? Where is the holistic assessment? None of these doctors asked me any tangible question about mental health. What just assume, because when I did not complain, my targeting started 2015. When I did not open my mouth, nobody said. If I went back today and said to all of them, I'm no more targeted, that everything is okay, then that means my mental health is cured. If I went to all of them and say, you know what, I made a mistake. There are no more gang stalk. There's no gang stalking, and nobody is targeting me with. That means my mental health is cured. That's how it has come to be. So, what is the point of these people? So, this is what he has written. It is my expectation, based on what? The assessment, the letter they sent to him, they put it nicely as if they told me, because there's something about asking somebody something and then you take time to write all these things as if you've done it. But what this occupational health has not asked, where is the assessment? They documented everything that I said, like what I put here, what I have told them. There is no variation from what I have maintained from day one. But then he think is this man, he knows it all. I didn't see where he has said, oh, they did this assessment, they did this MRI scan showed this, or it didn't show this. They did this CT scan, it did not show this, it did show this. They did your blood. It did not. There was no way of an independent assessment. But yet, my occupational health report said it is his expectation that I should be treated. And even went as far as telling me in my face that, oh, if I went to have, because I said to him that I would like to have an independent mental health assessment that is away from these two people. Then he said if I went outside NHS, he would not accept it. So what was his problem? People do go out of NHS. People have private medicine. They go out of NHS to have the assessment, and they have done. I've done it before. People are encouraged, instead of waiting on the waiting list. There was a time they will pay for you to have your treatment abroad, if you just to bring down the waiting list. So this man has actually stood on the way. He will prefer me to be sacked instead of doing it. He said to me that they follow the procedure when in mental health, two doctors have got to collaborate. So if they're collaborating lies, that means you have had it. That is your diagnosis, and that's why they have used it. And this is what they have used. When two of them collaborate, it's not about what is happening, it's collaborating. So if they're collaborating lies, that means they will lie, they will collaborate. Somebody says something and yeah, I agree, and that's it. Not because of what they have done to exclude. They have, none of these doctors have tried to find out if what I'm saying was true. None of them. But they have come to the conclusion based on assumption and hearsay. And then the psychiatrist in Fairfield is trying to hush up the assessment of my grandchild so that they can do assessment and section me based on the letter that I wrote that was not threatening. I was expressing what was happening to me and asking them to have a look. At this week, as we speak, they are collecting petition. A lot of people are signing petition so that they can have a parliamentary view investigation into this. So those ones that have signed the petition, are they going to section all of them and be treating them for signing the petition? Because what I've asked is for them to sign it, to look at it in the parliament. That's all I've said, just like what they are asking for the government to do. They have not sent it yet, but they're collecting petition. So this my occupational health. I left my job based on what this doctor have written. Actually, he went as far as say he does not know if I was mentally unstable, psychosis before my husband, and my husband is 80, is an old man with children, grandchildren, great grandchildren. Apart from what he has said, nobody has ever said he's confused or he's got mental health problem until last year. And everybody knows that when you are being targeted, they actually target you and your family and your friends. It is well documented. It is well known. Everybody says it. So if they are targeting me, I don't see no reason why they won't target him, because he's coming here often, because they want to know who is coming, what's the relationship, whatever they're investigating, and they just lump them up. This is an 86-year-old man this year. Up to this year, this man was still doing part-time job. He was going to bingo. But then somebody diagnosed him with psychosis last year, because he said he was also being gang stalked. And it's the same doctor that I've said it. And then he wrote to my occupational health that he doesn't know if it's my husband that had the psychosis first or me, based on lies. The psychosis that he misdiagnosis is written here. I didn't write this. This is what is written. It's written here. The psychiatrist profession often wrongly diagnose them as mentally ill. Often. So it seems to be the order of the day. Once you open your mouth and say you're being gang stalked or hit with directed energy, there is no trying to check what's going on here. And it is well documented. A lot of whistleblowers have come up to say this is going on. They don't want to hear. They just say, oh, it's psychosis, and that's it. And then start medicating you or forcing you into injection and treatments. And this is what is happening in this case. So what they're thinking, what they're planning to do is they are putting pressure on the social services, children's social services, to try to hurry up the assessment, because they want to assess me and section me for treatment. That is the consultant that I saw last year, that he said he would not see me again. Suddenly, he has become the ring bearer, is suddenly the leader of trying to section me. He said he won't see me again, that he was going to write to say I've got psychosis. I said, right. Because I know I haven't got any mental health problem. You know, my targeting started 2015. And because I've written this, so that means that I am mentally unstable. A lot of people have written to their government. A lot of people are coming out. A lot of people, silent Holocaust is a phrase that is being used, because even before I come to this country, I've heard about silent Holocaust. People have written books. They've talked about silent abortion, using it as a silent Holocaust of abortion. They've used it in terms of Jewish people. They've used it in different settings. And because I've used this, that means that that has made this man conclude that I need treatment. And because I said that some of this microwave are coming into my room, and it can't come through the wall, it can't come through glass, so it is well documented, and that's how you know. And I've got equipment to measure, so I just didn't talk this back off my head. I had measured it, and I've done a video on it. So he's not using evidence that is available, but he thinks that is his thinking without any evidence, based on presumption and assumption. So he's going to treat somebody based on presumption and assumption, not based on facts and reality. That means he's abusing his power. And this is what is happening. And this is what the occupational health said. This is what he said. To read from here, this is what he said. Written it up. This is what he said. And he's quite happy to put this in paper when he's no expert. He's no expert. He does not know. Maybe he knows now, because the day he was looking at me, he was checking my bag, having a smirk on his face, but he doesn't know why I carry bag. He doesn't know what's in the bag. But he's having a smirk because he thought, oh, mad people carry bag. Yeah, mad people carry bag. It's not the same portion of bag. It's not the same type of bag. And when you see a mad person's bag, what is in there is different from a sane person. Now, women do carry bag. Women, lots of women do carry bag. They do a lot of shopping. So to him, he hasn't thought that through. Again, abuse of power and position, assumption based on assumption, not based on reality and facts that is there in their face. The fact is there, but they refuse to recognize it, but basing it on assumption. So this is what I thought I'd share with you guys. So I don't know what's happening in your life. This is what is happening. So I don't know when I'm gonna be sectioned. I don't know when they're going to come and see me and to take me into hospital and start medicating me or forcing me to have injection based on that I've written a letter to the Prime Minister. People write letters to Prime Minister. People are encouraged to write letters to Prime Minister. If you're not getting joy anywhere, you escalate it. That's what I was taught. I was taught in this country. I did all my training in this country in terms of a nurse. You escalate until you get your problem solved. And I have, this is the letter that I wrote. I have not been rude to anybody, just asking why are they allowing this to happen, because it is happening. It's not only in this country, it's happening worldwide. It's a program that has been sold to the world, and people are following tit to tit because that is where you get the results. And when you're being targeted endlessly, defenselessly, and you can't do anything, people opt to just take their lives. And that's it. Once you take their life, you're already been, that's a goal for them, because the goal is to destroy you, and that's the aim. Aim is called a takedown program. That is what it's called, because there's no end until the last day of your life. There's no end. And when you're shouting, you're talking to people, nobody's listening, and then they're using mental health to cover up for what they're doing. And this is it. It is a silent Holocaust, and there's no way how you're going to paint it that it's not a silent Holocaust. And this is what this doctor, based on what I've written, that is using to want to section me, to bar me into a mental home, because I've said silent Holocaust, or because I've said the electromagnetic wave is coming. I'm being targeted by neighbors, but I am being targeted by neighbors. There's electromagnetic frequency coming from my neighbors into my home. And this is what he calls himself a healthcare professional. Do no harm. Do good, do no harm. So he's going to use this letter to section me, because he turned up in my house unannounced, and I didn't open, or I should have stand there dancing to help welcome him home, or welcome him into my home. When he turned up there with the man unannounced, no, I was always in my pajamas. Then I should have come in there and opened the door for him to come. I don't know what he had in his pocket. I don't know him as a person. I don't know his attributes. I don't know. I should have opened the door, because I'm that stupid. Or another day that he turned up without announced, no call, and I should open the door to let him, for what? So this is what he's trying to use. That is power that they've given him, is to abuse and section me. So that is the aim, is to section me, to come and do assessment and section me for treatment based on the letter I've written. So I'm going to try and put this letter on the internet for everybody to see, for everybody to read and make their own conclusion. So thank you for listening to me. And I don't know if it's happening to you. There are apps that you can use if you want to write. You can go to this man's website. Like I said, he's got some nice one. I find that very late, but I've already written my letter. This is him. So you can't be found there. So you can use it if you want to, if you're one of those, if you want to write to any of the charity, because we need to get this voice out. We need to let people know what's going on. Because I believe if I'm going to be killed, I can as well be shouting until I'm dead, but I'm not going to be saying yes sir or bow down for you until I'm going to be shouting and let people become aware that you're the one killing me, and that's it. That's my own thinking. So thank you. Stay positive. Do your own research and come to your own conclusion. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you.